Okay. So can you tell us about the start of Wasson Nursery?
Back then, it wasn't like it is today. Nursery business was in its infancy, and very few people were spending very much money on shrubbery and trees. But it so happened to be the very beginning of the nursery boom. So once we got started, it took off and went very well. The first year I was in business, I had two friends from high school as my workers. My mom was a part-time secretary. And I actually spent nights there at the nursery, slept on a little love seat that was in my little dinky office, and my two helpers would come in the morning, wake me up, and we'd go to work. Didn't really draw any pay. There wasn't enough money for me to draw pay, but I didn't need much money because I lived at home, and I worked 7 days a week, so I didn't really go out and spend money. So that was in June of 1977 when we started this. And each year it just grew and grew and grew. We went from 3 employees to 5 employees to 7 employees, from 1 truck to 2 trucks to 3 trucks, and it's just continuing to grow. When we first started in the landscape business here in Union City, we basically just did landscape installs. And I started small on my designing. I did go take some Ohio short courses on landscape design and improve my design. And I've always had an art background. I'm a sketcher, I'm a doodler, and so I was able to learn landscape design fairly quickly. And I felt like I did a really good job at it. But I can remember the first time I drew up a big landscape, which at that time I thought it was big, and I scored a $10,000 landscape job. And I went home and told my dad, and he just about fell off a chair. It was unheard of for people to spend that kind of money on landscaping when we first started. But take that and run it up to what they're doing today. They're selling, $200,000, $300,000 landscapes. Hardscape was not a big thing when we first started. That gradually got going, and then we got us our first hardscape crew, and we ended up with 2 hardscape crews. But once we built in Muncie and then in the Fishers, the hardscaping has just taken over. It's huge. this business is going to keep growing and keep going and keep supplying great jobs for the community. So we're in a good place.